and then you're playing for a country, dude. You want to play for a country. You want to play for everyone that's in Canada loves the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's star power. That's international power. So he's 23 years old. Sasaki, he has a chance to be a star in the big leagues, and the selling point is we have some of the best facilities here. We have we have a great culture here, and at the end of the day, you can be a star here in Toronto.
And I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom! Coming in hot, Chinchy. Dude, on my phone, it didn't give me the countdown.
Oh, really? That's
why you gave me the new Chinch head nod.
new. That's a good point. I did do that.
You're like, go ahead. I was like, oh man, I was like, talk about adjustment.
Look at you, dude. You're one with nature right now. You're at a huge fire pit outdoors, a lot of beautiful trees.
Dude, look at this. Look at the river over there. See the river?
Where are we here?
Isn't that nice, dude? I'm at this resort called the Lost Pines in Austin, Texas. I met my buddy Brian Johnson had a heroic event, Heroic Elite. If anybody doesn't know about Heroic, go check out heroic.us, I think it is, or the Heroic Movement. It's pretty great stuff. But yes, Arte. There you go, dude. That book's incredible. Yeah, I tell you what, go get that book, Arte, if you want one of the best, ancient wisdom, modern science books. A lot of stoicism, stuff like that, but a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
So I'm down here with Sarah, and Andrew came over yesterday, which was nice, and JD's here too. Obviously, we're doing Breakthrough Pro, so we're here sharpening our saw, bro. You know what I mean? We're here sharpening our saw. So it was a great couple of days. It was kind of cool too. We did Breakthrough Pro yesterday from our room. JD and we did Kent State in the morning, and then we did our Breakthrough Pro public last night, and it was it was on gratitude. It was our gratitude week, and man, I tell you what, being out here, Chinch, and realizing how much I'm grateful for, and just took a walk right now, just walking like the birds and the water and the sunshine, all the things that we have. And it's funny because I was saying last night, I was like, at times I feel like we need to wake up, because I feel like this isn't a dress rehearsal. Like, this is your life. It's not a dress rehearsal. Like, you don't get another one of these. Like we have to make sure that we're seeing the gratitude that's all around. Even like this morning, dude, I was talking to Jeff Duncan yesterday, the coach for the Kent State. We were talking about him playing in Dominican a couple of years. He played in the big leagues a little bit, and we were just talking about how we take hot showers for granted, dude. You don't play winter ball in the Dominican, there's cold showers, dude. There's no hot water. Like, hot water, there's like so many things. The fact that you and me are talking, and I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm on my phone, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my phone. We're on a basically like a Zoom link. You know what I mean? And you're in Long Island, New York, and we're able to communicate. It's incredible. So
yeah.
I always think the biggest thing is the opposite of gratitude is entitlement. You start thinking. He said a good thing the other day at this conference. The Zoom link wasn't working. It was 1,000 people were on the Zoom link. But the big thing about that is, hey, we're charging. Like, we talk about Breakthrough Pro. We got to charge for minor and major storms that come for you. You just got to charge and bring it on. Yeah. So he had a great thing. He was like, listen, if we're upset about Zoom not working, then we're missing the point that we have Zoom. We have Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom exists where we can put 1,000 people on to come into a conference. So I just thought this is some great stuff these last couple of days, dude. And we did gratitude yesterday. So I just, like I said, man, one of the main things was, it's not a dress rehearsal, man. We got one shot at life. We're all very important. We're one-on-ones. There's not one other person like any other person in the whole world. There's not one other Rich Chinchimino. That's pretty something to be grateful for. And I think the last thing I said to everybody last night was, you don't just live your life. You live the life you focus on. You live the life you focus on. So when you focus on gratitude, your life starts to kind of go in that direction. So that's my Breakthrough Pro moment for today, dude. And just very grateful to be here and grateful to be doing this with you, man.
Same here, brother. And listen, folks, like, this is translating the stuff that John's doing it's translating to sports. Yesterday, I don't know if anybody caught the Eagles game, but A.J. Brown had kind of a rough game. They wound up winning. They're a good team, but they caught him on the sidelines towards the end of the game, and he's reading a book Everybody's like, what's he doing? What's doing? I guess the book was called Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. And he says he reads it during the game to kind of ground himself and say, as long as I work hard, everything's going to work out. And like he literally he spoke about it after, and he's like, it just keeps me grounded, it keeps me focused, and it keeps me positive. And
Well, dude, that's so good. It's so good. I used to read the mental game of baseball before every game. At 6:00, I'd sit down and read the Bible so that I could get a scripture reading, so I keep things in perspective. This isn't the end of the world. This is fun. It's baseball. I'm not going to die if I strike out or have a bad game or get released. And I used to read the mental game of baseball, and it was a chapter called it was a chapter on mental discipline. He has a whole chapter on it, but I used to read this small paragraph every day about being mentally disciplined. Like the mentally disciplined people are the ones that end up, doing what they need to do. And I used to do a breathing technique too. But you talk about a guy like AJ Brown. Like when you set your intention, it brings your attention to things. So if you're setting your intention that I'm going out there to play an NFL game and I'm grateful and I'm accountable to myself. I have proper perspective. This isn't the end of the world. I look at yourself, as the man you're supposed to be. Dude, you're dangerous. You're dangerous. I look at a couple years ago, Bryce Harper got in the box, hit that big home run to left center. At the end of after the game in the playoffs, they asked him, what were you thinking when you were up there? It's like, I was grateful. I was grateful for the opportunity. I was grateful I have the skills to be able to do what I do. I was grateful for the Philly fans. Dude, when you go up in the batter's box and you have gratitude, I'll tell you what, you're dangerous. You're AJ Brown, and you go out there with intention of, hey man, life's bigger than just football. I'm going to go out and get my abilities going. That's when you're dangerous. Like the brain can't live in fear and gratitude at the same time, dude. It's impossible. Fear lives in the amygdala, and gratitude lives in the prefrontal cortex. When you can get your mind in a grateful state, the fear does not existent. So when you get into pressure situations, when you get into World Series moments or NFL playoff games, and you have gratitude, guess what, bro? You're now really dangerous because the fear is not there. So you can let your athletic ability come out, and so there's a power to that. And that's what I was saying too, like last night, like you think about gratitude. Hey, be grateful. No, man, it's a superpower. And also, last thing I'll say, the reason it's a superpower, Dr. Amen, this guy that I've talked about before, who does these SPECT scans, he's one of the best psychiatrists in the world. He does these SPECT scans on the brain. When you look at the brain, dude, and you're talking trash on yourself and you're in a fearful state, the brain looks like you're taking a freaking pitching wedge to it and like digging it out. When you are grateful, on a scan, dude, this isn't me. I'll send you the scan. Maybe you can even post it. When you look at a grateful brain scan, dude, those little divots are all filled in. Isn't that incredible how the brain works? So like you're actually affecting your biology and your physiology. Physiology drives psychology. When you affect your physiology and your biology, you're actually affecting what goes on in your brain. It's incredible.
wow, man, that's all good stuff, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Bring it. All right. Well, the Blue Jays have to use their amygdala.
Some gratitude to the Blue Jays. They need some gratitude. They need to sign somebody.
Yes. Well, they have just met with Roki Sasaki, who everybody's on everybody's radar, even though we're still waiting for everything. By the way, before we get into what we were talking about, great point by Jon Heyman the other day. Reminded everybody that Bryce Harper did not sign his big deal with the Phillies until the last day of February that year. So
Wow.
we are still in it here. So it's not like just because we're not hearing the news, there won't be huge news. Now, the Blue Jays met with him. They tried to go after some big names over the past couple of years. They have that cloud over them of what they're going to do with Vlad Guerrero Jr. So what's your take on them meeting with the Sasaki?
Well, I mean, they need to land somebody big, and I think what Mark Shapiro is doing there, Ross Atkins, the time's now. The time's now. They know last year didn't go as planned. They've had a few good years, man. They've been in the wild card 3 of the last 5 years. But at the end of the day, that you do need some star power there in Toronto, and I think the big selling point is they have some of the best facilities in the world, best spring training facility, no doubt, in all of baseball. They just redid the clubhouse and all the weight room and everything like that in Toronto. So if you're coming there and you're Roki Sasaki, you're going, wow, this is next level. What they have, and then you're playing for a country, dude. You want to play for a country. You want to play for everyone that's in Canada loves the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's star power. That's international power. So he's 23 years old, Sasaki. He has a chance to be a star in the big leagues. And the selling point is we have some of the best facilities here. We have, we have a great culture here, and at the end of the day, you can be a star here in Toronto. So, listen, at the end of the day, they need to land somebody. I really believe that, because if Vlad Guerrero doesn't end up signing back there, they need some star power, and Sasaki
Yeah.
be the guy.
Yeah, and I think it's great for baseball. When Canada's good at baseball, it's good for baseball. I really did think that. If you look back, recent history, you got the Joey Bats era where the crowds were going nuts and it was great there, and he had the bat flip. Dude, go back to even way back, dude. Joe Bell, Barfield, those teams in the '80s.
Oh yeah,
dude, the '90s, the Delgado teams.
Joe Carter.
Joe Carter. Oh my God.
Joe
Carter,
Carter.
Ricky Henderson.
Dan Plesac, Al Leiter.
Yeah, Ricky Henderson was even a Blue Jay.
Ricky Henderson, dude. Robbie Alomar.
Yeah,
Pat Tabler, wasn't he?
Tabler, dude. David Cohen was a hired gun for them. It's great when they're good, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are with that. Now we can move over to the Pete Alonso side. Actually, Jon Heyman just spoke about this on his New York posting. I'm going to play a clip for you right now. Listen to this.
I mean, obviously, there's 6 years. He's hit the most home runs of anybody in the National League since he came into the league. Only Aaron Judge has hit more home runs. He seems to have enjoyed it quite a bit. I know he's from Tampa, but he's like New York. And, I think ultimately there's a good chance that they will work it out. But like I said, not a certainty. There are other teams involved. They haven't met the price yet. And they still have some more compromising to do. And, I know we're in January 10th at this point, and I know it feels like it's late, but half the free agents still haven't signed. Some other stars have not signed yet. And historically, we know, Bryce Harper signed the last day of February 6 years ago. Prince Fielder signed in late January. A lot of stars have signed late and gotten big deals. So we shall see. But it does feel like a lot of teams are looking at kind of a shorter term deal with opt-outs for Pete at this point. But he's still waiting, and we're still more than a month to go before spring training. Just barely more than a month, but about a month. I do think he liked being a Met. He likes being a Met. I don't know which way to put it at this point, but
I agree with Heyman. That makes sense. It makes sense for Alonso to go back on a short-term deal with some opt-outs and kind of bet on himself, but also have the security of a 3-year deal, 4-year, probably not a 4-year deal. I'm saying 3-year deal for at the annual value being up a little bit. It just makes sense. And it makes sense for Pete Alonso to be back with the Mets. You got Juan Soto, got Alonso, you got Lindor. That's your left, right, left, three-headed monster. And I just think it makes sense. And I think to see the polar bear in another uniform would be weird.
I do too. And I also think this, and I'm sure Pete's a smart guy, and he's very grounded as a person overall, I think. And, David Wright last week spoke to the media because they're going to retire his number at Citi Field this summer, which is going to be really awesome. Captain America in New York. And he said, it's different. He's like, I lived and died. He's like, my entire legacy is in New York Mets. And he's like, not a lot of guys can say that nowadays.
Right.
Pete Alonso has the opportunity to say that. Somebody made a great point. If he goes to Arizona or some other team, I don't think at this moment he's a Hall of Fame type player. But, he can be. Sean, you're a Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer. Pete Alonso could get a number in the rafters with the Mets one day. He can be a Mets Ring of Honor or whatever they call that one day. Explain, try to actually if you're talking to Pete, say, what does it mean to you to be you're a Mr. Red type guy, even though you got traded.
It's incredible, dude. When I played 8 years with the Reds, when you walk away and to be in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, dude, that for me is like my legacy. Like Chinch, there's not a day goes by that I'm not so grateful that I played for the Reds, the storied organization, all the guys that you come around, even when Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and Tony Perez and Joe Morgan, these guys were always around, and you knew the history that you were a part of. You knew that there was something greater, playing with Junior, playing with Lark, playing with Dunner, all these great players, Danny Graves, Dimitri, Pokey, all these guys. And, I look back, man, to be in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame is such an honor, dude. It's not even funny. So I'm so grateful when I look back at my career. It wasn't Cooperstown. I did a lot of good things in the game. But to be in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, I think there's like 100 guys in there or something, or whatever the number is. It's not that many. And when I go back wearing that red jacket, and you see guys like even like a Marty Brenneman and these guys, when you're wearing the red jacket and you come back and you're like, I'm part of this fraternity of one of the greatest organizations of all time. And for when you look at a guy like Pete Alonso, when you look back at your career, if it's not Cooperstown, you would like to say, man, I'm part of the Mets Hall of Fame, or that fraternity. You think about David Wright going in. That's really cool for David Wright. I mean, he's first or second or third in pretty much every offensive category in that organization. And there's something special about it, dude. I don't think you appreciate it as like you should when you're playing, because your just mind's all over the place and there's a lot more stress. But once you're done and you're able to kind of look back and zoom out, and you're like, thank you, Cincinnati, man. Thank you to the Cincinnati Reds for those years that I got a chance to leave a mark and was recognized to go into that Hall of Fame in 2012. Like, beyond grateful. And hopefully Alonso one day can say that about the Mets.
Well said, man. Well said. All right. Well, I'm grateful for you. We are thinking we may have our boy on tomorrow.
We're hoping to lock down Millar. I'm going out to Millar's ranch today, dude. Millar's got like the Longhorns. He's got Longhorns,
actual Longhorns,
dude. And he's like, Case, you got to feed my one Longhorn. He's like a kitty cat. I'm like, dude, listen, I ain't feeding no. I'm scared of dogs. I go,
yeah, you are. You're scared of my dog, and you're scared of your own dog.
Dogs rattle me. The only dog doesn't rattle me is my dog Macy, because she has 3 legs. I can take her one leg out and she's out. She'd have 2 legs and be done. So I'm like, I'm not feeding a Longhorn, dude. I'm gonna be in the cab watching.
Yeah, dude, I see. When he brings people out there, he puts in the work. Don't let him do that.
I'm not putting to work, dude. I'm gonna drive around in this truck or whatever and just
whatever that is.
It's gonna be great. So hopefully we're gonna lock him down. I'm gonna see if he can come on with us. Maybe he'll be our guest tomorrow.
All right, that'd be great. All right, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day. Say hi to Millar for me and all that.
I will, Chinch. Love you, brother. Hey, everyone out there, thanks for listening. Appreciate you big time. And go get that book, Arate, too, by Brian Johnson. So good. Love you, brother. See you.